Hello everyone, welcome back to Mentors Academy. So let's go through today's current affairs in a simple and exam focused way. Remember, these topics are important not just for UPSC CSC exam but also for other state exams, PCS exams, CAPF, EPF and all other competitive exams. So but before starting with today's news in detail, let's quickly check yesterday's MCQs. Alright. The first question was, with reference to Apatani tribe of Arunachal Pradesh, consider the following statements. One, they practice a unique wet rice fish cultivation system. Their method has been recognized by UNESCO as a form of sustainable agricultural heritage. Apatani tribe is classified under particularly vulnerable tribal groups. Which of the above are correct? 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, and 1, 2 and 3. So the correct answer to this question is option A, 1 and 2 only. So they practice wet rice fish cultivation and have been recognized by UNESCO as a sustainable heritage, right? So moving on to the second question, we saw that the Taiwan Strait connects which of the following? A, South China Sea and East China Sea. B, East China Sea and Yellow Sea. C, Philippine Sea and South China Sea. And D, Bay of Bengal and Andaman Sea. So the correct answer to this question is option A, South China Sea and East China Sea. Right, so it's important for map based question in prelims, right? So let's move to the key headlines of today's news. The headlines include: accept Aadhaar as identity proof, Supreme Court orders poll panel. Himachal declared fully literate, joins club with Goa, Tripura and Mizoram. At BRICS, Jaishankar red flags linking of trade measures to non-trade matters. Israel and India sign bilateral investment pact. PM Modi to open conference of commanders in Kolkata. And we have an important reason in news, that is Red Sea cable cuts take a toll on Indian networks to Europe. And we have an important species in news also. Center panel gives nod to assess impact of rock phosphate mine on busted habitat. Great Indian bustard is in news. Yeah, so let's start the articles in detail. The first up we have Aadhaar and voter ID. Supreme Court allows linkage for poll panel. Right, the Supreme Court has directed the Election Commission to accept Aadhaar as a valid identity proof for voter registration. So now, why is this significant? It is significant. So let's see some background about Aadhaar here. So Aadhaar was launched in 2009. It is a biometric and a demographic identification. So voter ID comes under, and the voter ID comes under the Representation of People Act 1951. So linking Aadhaar to voter rolls can help remove duplicate or bogus voters, but it also raises data privacy concerns. So remember the Justice K.S. Puttaswamy case of 2017, which upheld the right of privacy. The prelims takeaways from these articles include UDI Act 2016, RPA 1951 and powers of Election Commission. The main angle to this article is it is about the electoral reforms and balancing privacy versus governance efficiency and Aadhaar's roles in digital democracy. Right. So moving on to the next article, we have an important news here about Himachal Pradesh. It's India's newest fully literate state. So Himachal Pradesh has joined 3 other states, Goa, Tripura and Mizoram, in becoming a fully literate state. So how did they achieve this exactly? How did the state achieve this exactly? So let's look into some background here. Since a National Literacy Mission 1988 and Sakshar Bharat Mission 2009, focus was on adult literacy and especially women's literacy, right? So Himachal has worked really hard on school enrollment, midday meal scheme coverage and community libraries. So recent years also saw emphasis on digital literacy, right? Digital literacy and also women's education. So keep that in mind. So in census 2011, so India's literacy stood at 74%, male 82% and female 65%. Important data to note here. So the prelims relevance of this article is literacy mission schemes, literacy trends, and Sakshar Bharat mission. And the main relevance includes human capital development, education as a social equalizer, and role of states in social indicators. Right. So yeah, moving on to the next article we have here. BRICS trade. BRICS trade, India resists non-trade linkages. At the BRICS Trade Ministers meeting, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has opposed linking trade to non-trade matters, non-trade issues like climate or human rights. Right. So the context here is the background. BRICS. It's a It was founded in the year 2009 and again expanded in 2024 recently to include six new members. So the founding members were Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and the new six members were Egypt, Ethiopia, Indonesia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and UAE, United Arab Emirates. Right. So what is the India's stance here? India stands and it says that trade rules should stay WTO consistent. It is India's stand now. So the West often weaponizes trade. The West often weaponizes trade by tying it to unrelated conditions. So that was the concern here, and the prelims. So India also emphasized on equitable equitable and rules-based multilateralism. It warned against trade becoming a tool of political coercion, right? So the prelims relevance of this article is the world institutions groupings. So BRICS is important here. Also the new development bank and the contingent reserve arrangement. So the main relevance here is India's role in ensuring equitable rules-based multilateralism and South-South cooperation. Right. So next up we have very important IR international relations and economy relevant article. India and Israel new bilateral investment treaty BIT. Bilateral Investment Treaty. So India and Israel has signed a BIT to protect and promote investments. So why it matters exactly? Let's see some background. Yeah, so the ties upgrade between India and Israel, the ties has upgraded to strategic partnership in 2017. Then we know that Israel is already a strong partner in defense, agricultural technology, water technology, and cyber security. So that this treaty ensures legal safeguards, investor protection, and also encourages FDI in areas like startups and defense technology. Right. So it ensures legal safeguards and fair treatment. To also encourages collaboration in startups, defense tech, and also agriculture. Right. So the UPSC relevance, the prelims relevance of this article is in features of bilateral investment treaties and India-Israel cooperation areas. Right. So the main relevance is bilateral economic cooperation, West Asia relations, and investment climate reforms. So answer in the comment section. So can you name one Indian state where Israel has major drip irrigation projects? Right? Which Indian state has major drip irrigation projects by Israel? So right. So your answer in the comment section below. So moving on to the next article we have here about Tri-Service Commanders Conference. So PM Modi will inaugurate the Tri-Services Commanders Conference in Kolkata. So it was actually started in the year in the 1950s. It is now attended by PM and the National Security Advisor. So the focus this time is on jointness, integrated theater commands, cyber threats, and border security. Right. So the venue is Kolkata. highlighting importance of the Eastern Command in Indo-Pacific and Northeast strategy, right? So the prelims relevance of this article is theater command concept and the tri-service institutions. The main relevance is in defense reforms, jointness, civil military relations, and also the Atmanirbhar Bharat in defense, right? Yeah, so moving on to next article, we have an important reason in news, that is Red Sea. The news is Red Sea cable cuts India's internet vulnerabilities. So India's internet to Europe slowed after submarine cable cuts in the Red Sea. Submarine cable cuts in the Red Sea region. So why this matters? So why is Red Sea so important to the world? So before that, let's see the mapping here. So here we have Red Sea, right, between the African and the Asian continent. This mapping is really important for the prelims perspective. So why is Red Sea actually important? Over 95% of global internet traffic flows through submarine cables, right? So the Red Sea is a key choke point, but also a conflict zone with Yemen and Houthi tensions. So India's IT and financial sectors rely heavily on this route. So that's why Red Sea is so important, not only just to India but also to the whole world. So India here needs redundancy, like alternate routes and satellite backups to protect the digital infrastructure. So the prelims relevance of this article is in submarine cable facts and Red Sea geography, right? So the main relevance is in digital sovereignty and geopolitics of internet routes, also critical infrastructure resilience. Yeah, so move on, let's move on to the next article. So this is the last article of today's news. Species in news, Great Indian Bustard versus rock phosphate mining. So the center cleared environmental assessment for rock phosphate mining near the bustard habitat. Environmental impact assessment. So Great Indian Bustard is a very important species. We have seen PYQs on this on this particular species and prelims. The Great Indian Bustard, it's a critically endangered species found mainly in Rajasthan's Thar desert, right? So here also rock phosphate we have. It's crucial for fertilizer production, and India imports nearly 90% of rock phosphate. So this creates a classic development versus environmental classic development versus environment conflict. Development versus environment conflict. So mining boosts fertilizer security, but bustards already face threats from power lines and habitat loss, right? So the prelim specificity of this article is Great Indian Bustard, its IUCN status, and the use of rock phosphate. The main specificity is how to balance fertilizer self-reliance with biodiversity protection, conservation, and development versus environment, right? So with this, we are done with today's key articles. Right, so let's see a few MCQs to test your knowledge. With reference to Public Safety Act of Jammu and Kashmir, consider the following. It allows preventive detention without trial. It can be applied for up to 2 years for security threats. It is applicable throughout India. So which of the following are correct? 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3. So the second question is, the Great Indian Bustard is primarily found in Thar desert regions, Nilgiri Hills, Sundarbans mangroves, and Eastern Ghats. So drop your answers in the comment section. We'll be seeing your responses, and we'll see the answers to these questions in the next current affairs session, that is tomorrow. So let's see two main questions for you to practice answer writing. The first one is, preventive detention laws like PSA are often criticized for violating rights. Discuss with recent examples. 10 marker. 150 words question. The second question is, how can India balance fertilizer security needs with conservation of critically endangered species like the Great Indian Bustard? It is also a 10 marker 150 words question, right? So practice these questions. Yeah, so that's all for today's current affairs. Each point we discussed today has a direct link to your prelims and mains preparation. So keep revising, practicing, and connect current events with the static syllabus, right? So yeah, that's it for today. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Mentors Academy for more such updates. And make sure to share this with your peer group. So I'll see you tomorrow with another current affairs session with more updates. Yeah, so thank you very much for turning in and have a good day.